Hello and welcome to today's video. I'm extremely excited about this video because today I'm going to be sharing with you everything that you need to know before visiting Plitvice Lakes National Park in Croatia, or in Croatian, Plitvice. And Ali and I recently had the pleasure of spending a few days in the Plitvice area and had an amazing and wonderful time. However, before we kind of planned our itinerary, it was so stressful because it seemed like there's a lot of confusing or just messy information online, as well as a lot of lacking information. So we're gonna hopefully fill in the gaps and give you a nice clean itinerary to have the best time possible at Plitvice Lakes National Park. And if you like the video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more content like this, share with a friend, and without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it. So first, Plitvice Lakes National Park are this collection of beautiful lakes and waterfalls located toward the center-ish of Croatia, and is about a 2-hour drive away from the capital of Zagreb, about a 2.5-hour drive north of Split, and then about an 1.5-hour drive away from the city of Zadar. In terms of staying, there are plenty of Airbnb and hotel options around the park close to entrances 1 and entrances 2 of Plitvice. And what we did is we stayed in the town, well in English, Slunj, S-L-U-N-J, in Croatian, Slunje. And this is about less than a 30-minute drive from entrance 1 toward the north. And it is this beautiful small village, extremely magical. It's built right where these two rivers are actually connecting, and it has its own set of waterfalls. People there are amazing. We were able to find an Airbnb for around $100 a night. That was wonderful. Had some of the best food, including local sourced trout and bear goulash that I've never tried before, and it was awesome. So there was just an awesome part of our Plitvice experience. Definitely check out Slunje. Now, in terms of how to actually get in the park, where to park for the park, you're gonna either park at entrance number 1 or entrance number 2, and we would recommend starting at entrance 1. So the park is divided into two main sections, which are the lower lakes and the upper lakes. Entrance 1 takes you closer to the lower lakes, entrance 2 takes you closer to the upper lakes. Now, it doesn't really matter as much where you park, because once you park, you can go and actually see a good chunk of the national park within one day. However, the reason for starting at entrance 1 is because the most beautiful waterfalls, in our opinion, are right there at the lower lakes, literally like right after the first entrance. And if you start at around 7 or 8 a.m., right there early in the morning, as soon as the park opens, the view is unbelievable. We were there in October with the leaves changing color, which was awesome. What's even more awesome is you have the sun rising with this warm glow within that kind of first hour of morning, shining its light on the waterfall. And even because it was the morning, there was like nobody. There was this mist kind of coming up. It was like a fairy tale. Literally, it was like we were in a fairy tale. It was awesome. And it was definitely one of the absolute top, most beautiful parts of the entire park. And we went through most of the park, came back to that same point later in the day, and by that point the sun is actually kind of like behind the waterfall. So when you take photos or look at the waterfall, it's very, very hazy. You're kind of like looking into the sun. So in terms of, getting started, you can get started either way and see most of the park. However, definitely recommend getting started at entrance 1. And the cost to enter the park will range depending on the season. So obviously in the warmer months, it's a bit more expensive, and in the colder months, it gets a little bit less expensive. And this ranges anywhere from 80 to 300 kuna to enter. So that's just kind of, one person to kind of enter the park, and a couple other things we'll mention here in a second. And then the second thing is, obviously, if you are driving and need to park, parking is 8 kuna per hour for just kind of standard vehicles. And once you scan your ticket and enter through entrance 1, like I said before, almost immediately you're gonna be hit with maybe the most magnificent waterfalls in the park right there in front of you. And you'll notice that there's a lot of different trails that you can go through. So what we did and recommend doing is kind of taking a little detour closer toward that kind of waterfall. And what you can do is just kind of, basically look at the waterfall, just start taking trails toward it, because you can get very, very close actually to the waterfall. And it's this totally different vibe, because at this point, once you're closer, you have kind of the sun is blocked by the rocks. You see all these other different waterfalls along the way that are just beautiful. And the water is like this clear, like almost like this bluish, greenish, teal color. It's beautiful. And after you're done soaking up the beauty and any other residual waterfall that's coming down on you, then what we'd recommend doing is making your way toward the ferry. So basically, if you just went pretty much straight from that point of the lower fall towards the ferry port, you'll pass by some other beautiful sites all along the way, just kind of naturally. And when you get to the ferry section, there's a boat that you can take for free, which is included in your ticket. And that ferry is how you're going to get to the upper falls. Okay, so that's kind of the connector. And in order to get to the upper falls, you need to take it. Also there, while you're waiting for the next available ferry, there is a restaurant there and some beverages and food available with a nice picnic and kind of sitting area, which is really nice. You can go and feed some local ducks as well. And once you take the ferry, it's about 20 minutes to get from kind of that lower lake section to the upper lake section. So fairly short, really, really chill and actually pretty slow moving ferry to get to the other side. And once you're there, we found that there was a lot more waterfalls on that upper section, but they were much more kind of like scattered out. So really diverse, and really each one was kind of unique in its own way, really beautiful. And what we did is we kind of sort of like looped around the upper lakes section and then ended up at the shuttle station. Okay, and we ended at the shuttle station because the ferry is the way you get from the lower falls to the upper falls, and the shuttle is how you get from the upper falls sort of like back to the lower falls. So that's just kind of how things work, and that's where there's a little bit of confusion online. So go and kind of enjoy your time, just walk around the upper falls there, spend as much or as little time as you like. We try to hit kind of all those main waterfalls you'll see on your map itinerary, and I'll try to kind of throw up our itinerary either here in the video or in the description section. And then you'll end at the shuttle station. From there, you'll kind of get driven very close to where you started toward entrance 1. But what's really cool is that from where the shuttle drops you off to the same entrance where you entered in, earlier in the day, there's actually along the way this super beautiful vantage point that actually a lot of people miss when they come to the park. And we'll try to again share the specific location. But basically you can look down at part of the beautiful and iconic kind of winding bridge that goes right next to the waterfalls. It was just like we were living in a fairy tale the whole time that we were there. And in terms of how long to stay in the park, if you're getting up early, definitely within one full day, you can see pretty much all of the main sites, pretty chilled. But of course, depending on your age, how quickly you move, if you have kids, all of that can kind of play factor. But definitely one full day, you should be golden. And if you maybe spend a half day, then maybe 2 half days is definitely enough. And we hope you found this video valuable. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up and share with a friend. And if you'd like to see our other adventures and reviews of places all throughout Croatia, be sure to check out our full Croatia playlist, which we'll be linking in the description section of this video. If you have any questions, be sure to let us know in the comment section below. And as always, thank you so much for watching and your support. God bless, and we look forward to seeing you on future adventures. Until then, ciao.